Hey folks, I'm in Kootli Beach in Gokarna meeting some old friends. So,
Hey,
what's up, Audrey?
I'm
Very good.
fine.
How are things?
How are you?
Yeah,
How are you?
Very nice, very nice. So it's been what, 6 years since I've seen Audrey. Last I saw her was in Orville.
Yeah. Yeah, 6 years I haven't come back to India, man. It's amazing to be here again.
So what brings you all to India again and again? What, this is like so many trips, for you all?
Yeah.
And now in Gokarna.
Premdas also.
Yeah, I've been many times in India from 1997, and but now it's like 17 years I haven't put foot in India. I'm coming back. It's a very strong time for me. Very important. I came in India actually to learn classical Indian music, like tabla and singing. But after my third journey, my third trip, my second trip actually, I had a strong spiritual calling and I became a sadhu in the Kumbh Mela of 2001. So from my name, Omael, I received the name Premdas. So you see, India is very important for me. I also have an Indian name.
Wow, Premdas it is. What about you, Audrey?
Well, I remember my first call. That was when I was 7 years old, and I heard this word in my head, reincarnation, and I didn't even know what it meant. And then at 16 years old, I wanted to go to India, and my mother freaked out and said, "No, you're crazy, you're gonna die there, you're gonna just die." I said, "Okay, no, so no then."
Well,
And then when I was like 33, I think I came. So maybe 15 years ago. And yeah, of course, it's the Ayurveda and yoga. That first was the first step. And then it unfolded into a full spiritual journey that was like synchronicity mixed with yoga and revelation about all Indian culture and yeah, all the gods and this, and I could not leave. So I stayed 2 years, and then I came back, and finally I am back again to do a movie, because we want to make a movie about what we like.
in fact, India, even me as an Indian, always used to think that, I always wanted to go abroad. My family wanted me to be a computer engineer, probably be in America being a software engineer, but I chose this profession because it's art, it's fun. And during this journey of filming a lot of places in India, I also discovered what India actually means, not only to myself, but also to the world. India is the place which is the birth of spirituality and yoga, and from here the energies are spread into a lot of other places, and this is what attracts a lot of people to India.
I became very curious the time I was playing tabla, learning classical music, seeing all these pictures of gods and the spirituality here, especially the representations, and I was really guessing all the symbolic has some meaning, but I was curious. I did not know what means the Trishul of Shiva, for example. Why this attitude, why this mudras. So I discovered at some point there is an explanation somehow of how India is, you can say, the deposit or the origin, the original source of so many spiritual streams, and why there is this attraction to this very special country, continent. There is the Geoid. The Geoid is a calculation, measures made by scientists with satellites, with proper, machines to measure the core magnetism, the central terrestrial core emit certain radiation and magnetism, and it will influence the form of the global Earth if it was in a liquid substance that could, take the form of that projection on the surface of the Earth from the core. And so they measured and they made this virtually, You have this picture of the Earth, it's not so round, it's kind of like a stone with inegalities, and you will have protuberances, and you will have valleys or depressions. And so we find only one big important depression on this whole planet Earth, as it will be as a geoid. India is completely immersed into this big circle where you find the less or the more pressure, the more pressure going to the center. So it's a center of gravity, you can say, very important. And when we come here, we are very far from the distances that the protuberances that mostly you find Africa and Europe and America. All these countries there are mostly, in the yellow, orange, red colors. So it means very going outside from the center and more to appearances and to external things. But here we are more near the center and connected to the center. We can also receive more, maybe, from the spiritual, you can say, celestial things, like a connection is made more on chord. So when I discovered that, the Sri Lanka is really in the middle of that center, that volcano, you can say. I understood the whole Earth is like a mandala, but you have kind of center. This is India. You have also the X of the planet with the North Pole and South Pole. But India is really aligned also with this north and south. You have the Himalaya that are comprised still into this sphere of purple color that is speaking about the depth of this valley, this depression. And the whole India is inside this one, So this is the origin of many things in the world mandala, the global mandala. That's why India is so important, so in an energetic point of view.
So yeah, what we're gonna talk about in this movie is about symbolism through stories of mystic stories of the gods, legends, and all this symbolic story that would tell us some messages. And about like this first symbolism about the inside and outside, like the Western world is like living outside. So maybe that is related to this outside, like you say, the surface is coming outside, and India is going inside. So maybe we can say that there's a lot of saints, a lot of masters of spirituality that were in India, that since long time that's still in India, and because they went inside themselves, because they look inside, because they meditate, they make tapasya, they make some sadhana, which are some practices to look inside, and that's what made them wise and so on. And in the Western world, in the other side, like running everywhere, going outside, looking material world, that makes what we see now. Eccentric, materialistic, capitalist. And so we still believe that India also is going to capitalist also.
India is already, I think India is completely capitalist.
Yeah.
In fact, most of the Indians just want beautiful clothes, phones, and the rich lifestyle. They are disconnected from their roots.
But there are still some people who come to India. There is still some attraction to yoga. Actually, the Westerners came a long time ago and they kind of revived the yoga. If there is this depression, this vortex, I guess the spirituality will still be here. And the Himalaya is also something that is unexplored for a lot of, maybe there's a lot of saints that are still there and we don't know. Yeah.
I would like to there is a parallel in all the stories we will visit during this short film and the other films also. India is the mother, it's a matrix actually for the earth, the whole mandala of the earth, and we call Mata Bharat Mata. In the same way we say, you know, Go Mata, the cow is a mother also. And there is a story here in Gokarna that means the cows here, because it is also associated with the cow, that is a maternal symbolism. Especially the here also is like very receptive, speaking about receptivity. And it's looking also a bit like a yoni, you know, like a matrix, a feminine receptive. At this time when this cow's ear was in the hand of Ravana, we will explain more the story of Gokarna after, but the demon, you know, wanted to bring here a lingam from the Kailash, the Himalayas. And then this lingam should not touch the earth, otherwise he will keep staying there forever. So this demon could take the lingam from Kailash, but he came in this region, and this is Ganesha who played a trick to him by implanting finally the lingam here. So when Ganesha disappeared with one cow that was coming inside the earth, the demon could only, you know, take what he could, and it was this here remaining in his hand. So you have the lingam, that is a stone, I mean mainly concretely, and you have the cow's ear that was petrified, and both stayed here as a lingam and a yoni. So especially we put an emphasis, we highlight the motherly, receptive, feminine aspect. We come in Gokarna here, but not only Gokarna. Gokarna is the center of a mandala from India, you know. For all India there is some meaning very important, what is Gokarna. And India itself is a matrix for the whole world. So there is definitely something to learn about receptivity. As the depression where India is situated, this depression, magnetic depression, many things came out of it and it looks lost somehow sometime. You know, at some level we say the Indian people have lost their way of life, their culture, but now something is coming back from all that diffusion.
True.
And many people also coming from outside and giving back some feedback to India. And this is an attanor. This is an attanor for all the planet. What will come out of this experience and why we are here in India, Audrey, Shivani, me, Premdas, and also why you, my friend, you know, it's the main point is this receptivity.
So, Vikram, you like me, you've been attracted to Gokarna.
Yeah.
And I also came back many times. So I want to, as Premdas was talking, we're coming back and we're attracted to this central point of Gokarna. So what can you say about this?
Well, you know me. I mean, I was always a modern, happy guy, you know, with a lot of money and, you know, having my restaurants and having a good life. But then somehow I just disconnected with myself and with the world around. And I had to discover myself and, you know, everything that has happened. So for 5 years, I was in a state of sadhana, you could say. I just went within myself, rediscovered myself, and that's what brought me to Gokarna. In fact, I had no idea of what is Gokarna. A friend just invited me here, and I was here a year ago, more than a year, and then I've been here ever since. Because there is some kind of a cleansing which happens in these kind of spiritual places, which cannot be explained in words. It has to be experienced. And I also rediscovered India spirituality, my own yoga, and the beauty of consciousness, which is actually within us, but it just has to be discovered.
I feel in Gokarna like it's at the center, like we're coming back to the center, and the story that we're gonna explain more about Ganesh, that he hold the lingam here, he called back the lingam here, because this is like the heart feeling, inspiration Gokarna is very, very sweet. You can feel there's a lot of synchronicity. Means like, I don't know, you're dreaming of something, or you're thinking of somebody and you meet him, or
True.
some kind of, cleansing and synchronicity. Means like, you dream of something. Like I was dreaming of making a movie of India, and I came here, and after today we said let's make a movie. So this is kind of this magic, and the magic can only happen in the heart, when your heart is open, when you're ready to receive. And that's all about the story of receptivity, like the connection with the heart, the connection with the mother love, the connection with yourself actually, that brings you where you need to be and what you need to do.
Yeah, so let's just eat love.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah. Let's have this beautiful food, traditional food from South India actually, which is masala dosa, and it's very fresh and nice. Baya.
3 masala dosas. Yeah, did you know that the sambar of masala dosa is different in every state?
Oh really?
Like Karnataka, it's sweet. Tamil Nadu is normal, which is salty, and Bombay is sweeter.
Oh wow.
But
Nice.
so yeah, masala dosa
Why?
also. Why? God knows. So even masala dosa like changes
Yeah.
every state you go.
The best masala dosa in Kudli Beach
Thank you,
is
very
here.
good. Enjoy your food.
So what is the story of masala dosa?
I don't know, I did it this year, first time,
Yeah.
and hopefully how much people is like my masala dosa, and then tell me.
Yeah. Who teach you to make masala
This is
dosa?
my
Your
wife,
wife.
yeah.
Yeah. Traditional food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy your food.
Yeah, really nice.
And even the chutney is really fresh, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah,
This chutney is actually sweet.
this chutney is sweet.
Yeah, you will see. Maybe she's coming from Bombay.
Very good.